Hey all, Paul Moore here. I just want to take a moment to give you a quick update on all the goings on that we've been dealing with here recently with the churning on the site. As everyone knows, Dearborn Truck Plant decided to go from a 7-on 7 off operation to a 5-day schedule. I understand the turmoil this caused a lot of people. We're going through a lot of, I'll say, growing pains. We were on the old schedule, the AWS, for almost 13 years. I understand there's a lot of people that never were part of a 5-day operation, so there's a lot of questions. I want to start off by saying, if you do have a question, reach out to your committee staff, reach out to the representative, reach out to the bargaining team, reach out to myself. I've heard a lot of people on social media making comments and stating claims of things that aren't true and aren't accurate. And I understand it's easy to just go onto your phone and put your 2 cents in on things, but the best way to get good information is to reach out to the bargaining team, to the committee room. Let us know what you want to, let us know what your questions are, and then we'll do the best we can to answer them. We understand it's not going to make everybody happy. No one likes change, I can tell you that. We received many calls recently about how this has disrupted their patterns, our lives, and our schedules. I can tell you it was not a decision by the Maintenance Construction Transportation Unit. This was 100% a decision by Ford Motor Company. They made a financial decision to cut trades. It's the only way I can say it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to BS people. They're trying to. I've said this before. I believe that the recent contract negotiation, it was contentious to say the least. We had strikes involved. I believe the company wants to get back their $9 billion. I could go into a whole conversation about my feelings about that, but I just want to say we're going to move forward the best we can, and I just want to say a few things. So first of all, let me just start by saying I want to thank everyone for your patience and understanding. There was a lot of moves going on at one time, and I know people were a little confused about how some things didn't seem to be done like the way they were done in the past. I can tell you that this last schedule change is something that we haven't had anything near to this in the 29 years of my being at Ford Motor Company. This was a monumental change, so I understand and I do appreciate. I did want to start off by saying the first thing we did was we looked at the overall surplus that we could not contain within our unit, and that ended up being 4 pipe fitters. Those 4 pipe fitters by seniority were able to go to zone opportunities, and they have since moved out of our unit. There was also an element that was looked like we were going to look at up to 6 millwrights, and I know initially I had put out some information regarding 6 potential millwrights that were going to be surplus on the site. I could not in clear conscience let that happen, as we have thousands and thousands of hours of millwright work on the site that is projected for the next 2 to 3 years. It's mostly related to the steam elimination project. So we were able to get back with the company and determine places where we could place those surplus 6 millwrights, in addition to the 102 trades that took the SRI packages. So you have to understand there was a big movement of people on April 1st that left the unit. We wanted to first take care of the surplus for the unit. We wanted to make sure internally within the Rouge, where there were openings for skilled trades, we wanted to make sure that people by seniority were able to take those opportunities. So that was the first part of this. Once that was accomplished, we're at the point now where we're internally moving trades within the truck plant. So that's been an ongoing process, and I know we've gotten a lot of calls on people that they didn't feel it was fair or right. And I can tell you that we had a lot of moving pieces that we had to put together. We tried to honor seniority first and foremost, and we tried to make it so that there was the least amount of churning or disruption. I think we did all the moves, if I'm not mistaken, without having to force anybody to any location that they didn't want to go to. So it wasn't a perfect process. I'm not gonna lie to you. With something that monumental, not everybody can be happy, but I assure you we tried to follow the book. We followed what would be considered a template from the National Ford Department and how they handle job security and openings. So I just want to assure you we tried to do everything the best we could for the least amount of disruption, and I hope everybody understands that. So I'll leave it at that. All the moves should be completed by June 17th. It looks like everybody who's moving to a new location will be complete on June 17th. And as I said, there were 102 maintenance construction that took the SRI package. Most have already retired, and I want to say thank you and congratulations to those people that chose to leave with the SRI packages. There's a few still working that have to work into their 30-year time. Everyone will be retired through that SRI offering by the end of this calendar year. I say that to say that once everything shakes out, we're still going to be in need for some trades on the site. So there will be some external hiring, probably before the end of the year. Interviews are being scheduled now. It's not a lot of openings, but the ones that are, I just want to assure everyone that we will revert to our lateral language. So if you took advantage of the lateral sign-up, by all means, when we go to hire from the outside or external to the Rouge, when those people are identified, we will go to the lateral sheets and honor anyone who signed up for a lateral movement. I want to make sure you're aware of that. I also want to state that we're working to have additional apprentices put on this year. There's a certain amount that we get through the calculations for the amount of apprentices on any given year. We have some that aren't scheduled to start until 2025. And there are some openings for core skills classes at the TTC in this third and fourth quarter. And we're doing everything we can to pull forward that number. And we're hoping to add at least 12 more apprentices that we didn't initially think were going to be added this year in 24. So we are making those moves. Ford Motor Company made a financial decision to reduce trades. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This limits our ability on the site to take on work and projects. And I don't want to go so far as to say there's some plot out there to reduce trades. I think, like anything else, they probably don't appreciate what they have until it's not there. So I can tell you we're going to continue to fight to maintain the project work that we have had traditionally on the Rouge. This is a big issue now because we find ourselves in a scenario where some of our trades are being forced in onto the weekends and they're not signing up to work. There was a rumor going around or some conversations earlier that people had said, if we don't sign up for any overtime, the company has to go back on a alternative work schedule. I don't know who started that. I don't know where that came from. I'm not going to sit here and say that I believe that's true, and I can't say it's not true. I can tell you that if we don't sign up, the situation that gets presented to us is every week we get requests for outside contractors. They literally came in and asked to have outside contractors come in to do PMs. So if you want to work, if you have a desire to work, don't think that if you don't sign up, we're going back to an AWS anytime soon. If you want to work, sign up. You can sign up in interdepartment, you can sign up with outplant, and obviously in your own departments. If you don't want to work, if you have things and everybody has a work-life balance and everybody feels differently about it, don't sign the book. If you don't want to work, you're not obligated to sign up for voluntary overtime. I will tell you that in your areas, it's best if people get together and kind of work out. If someone has something going on a particular weekend, maybe you can let people in your area know, and maybe they'll decide to do something different at home so they can come in and work. And I say that to say, if we're not here to do our work, I don't want to get into a situation where we're forced across the board, everybody in every weekend. But I can tell you, if we're not here, if we're not taking on our work, I guarantee you the work will get done. It may not get done with our forces, and that's a dichotomy that we face every day. How do we keep the outside out? How do we keep the work in? I just want you to know that it's up to you to volunteer for overtime. I fully support people that have things going on at home and want to do that. This is a very touchy subject for a lot of you, and I just want you to know we're going to hold the company to account. They're going to have to go interdepartment. They're going to have to ask for outplant help. And once they go through those steps, if there is a case where there's mandatory overtime, we made a decision and we agreed that how we were going to do that is forced by low hours. And I know that caused a lot of problems for people. They want it to be just strictly seniority. I can only tell you we thought about it long and hard, and we just feel that we would like people to be able to spread out the overtime, the mandatory overtime, and not force the same low seniority people in every weekend if it comes to that. My feeling is that once we have several weeks on a 5-day schedule, things should work themselves out for the most part. We are monitoring the forcing. If it becomes an issue where it's untenable, we absolutely have been in contact with the National Forest Department, and we will address issues where people's lives are being disrupted to the point where they can't see their kids maybe, or they can't spend time with some older parents. I just want you to know we do have empathy for your home life balance. I know Ford has spoken to that in the past. Let's see if they really believe it. We're really trying to make sure people are not forced in here when they don't need to be, but we want to make sure we protect our work. That's very important moving forward. That's all I will say about that. But if you have any questions about any of what I just talked about, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly or to the bargaining team, and we'll walk through everything that we're trying to put together and how we're trying to address that issue. It is a big concern for us, and we appreciate that. I did talk about that already with this, so I just want to say that, as I said before, it's very important to contact the committee room, contact your representatives. I ask Brian Matheson on a weekly basis to put out information to the entire unit. So there's email communications. We put flyers on boards. We have our monthly union meetings that, by the way, we're going to look at adjusting those time schedule because now we're all on a 5-day schedule on the complex. So look out for changes with the timing of our regular union meetings. I just want to say it's very important to communicate, but it's also important to take in the communication that we're putting out there. I can't tell you how many times I talk to people and they ask me a question. I say, well, you know, an email got sent. Did you get it? Did you read it? And they'll say, I don't look at those, or I don't bother with that, and I can't make it to the union meeting. I can't make you be involved. But what I can tell you is if you're involved and you let us know what your concerns are, we can address them. And a lot of times people will bring things to us that we didn't even think about. So it's really important to make sure, especially at this time, that we communicate, that you don't hesitate to reach out. There's a lot of people out there that have comments and concerns. There's people on social media, on Facebook. I personally don't believe in communicating by Facebook because I don't like to not have control of a conversation. I just want you to know that whenever we have concrete information, we're going to do our very best to make sure that it gets disseminated to all of you. That's my vow. We're going to make sure that even if it's something you don't want to hear, we're not going to hide things from you. But we're not going to put rumors. We're not going to put conjecture. It doesn't help us. We want to make sure we stick to the truth, and that's what I promise that we will do. I just want to close by saying, please work safe, work smart, because the company has decided to short the trades or to reduce trades. Make sure you follow all the procedures. Don't take shortcuts. If there's not enough people to do a job, make sure we know about it. If there's any issues where someone's pushing you to do something you don't feel safe, do not hesitate. That's the most important thing. We don't want to hear that, oh, we were in a hurry. Oh, the boss came and asked me to do this right away. I want you to know that that's your right to be safe in the workplace. Also, we need to look out for people being misassigned work. There could be a situation where we don't have enough tradespeople that they want to assign maybe a production person to our work, or maybe they want to misassign and misuse the lines of demarcation. It's very important that we're diligent in our work, take care of our PMs, make sure we do everything by the book. I don't want to say we're in a battle. I think we're in a tumultuous time. The company's going through some shifts of how their production schedules are based on profits and what they want to see as the future. Don't let someone else's management issues make you change the way you do your work every day. I mean that. I take that to heart. I want everyone to work safe, go home to your families, look out for one another. Show grace. Let's have grace and dignity, and let's treat each other kindly. I know it sounds cliche, but I mean it. There's a lot of tensions going around these days, and I just want to make sure we all come to work, make money to support our families, and we go home safe in one piece. Anyway, I appreciate all you do every day, and don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're there for you always. Thank you.